everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available, and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Welcome back to Mything 15 Minutes, the show where we usually explore the myths, monsters, and mysteries that remind us humans that always one grainy photos away from total hysteria. But we're knee-deep in the murky waters of a Scottish lake, so we're talking about that for the however long AJ writes it. I'm Sam Rossi, reading... No, I'm not reading a script. Writing a script by AJ Carey.
You're absolutely right.
I'm Sam Rossi, reading a script by AJ Carey, who cannot say anything about when I had made a 5-part series on the West Memphis 3. They were totally railroaded. Watch that over in Killing 15 Minutes. Great episode.
listen to that over on Killing 15 Minutes. Do watch the YouTube Killing 15 Minutes, where we are about 150 episodes behind, because, well, we're doing new stuff over there. And by new, I mean old.
Anyways, don't forget to check that out. You'll enjoy it. So to speedily catch anyone up who's jumping into part 4 instead of listening to the first 3 episodes, please do. We need engagement. Up on what's going on. Saint banished a monster in the 6th century. It took several centuries for the monster fish to be seen in the 30s. It telephoned into being a plesiosaur because of King Kong. No one has any good pictures that aren't fake or misidentification or totally a dog.
That would be a misidentification.
Yeah, well, that one really, I always thought a dog, but when you had that one picture where I'm like, oh, that really is a dog.
See, the thing is that for that picture, we will talk about that later. Or we talked about it last time.
Anyways. Wow, that was shockingly easy. And we ended up with the incidental video that showed a boat. I'm sorry if we gave everyone a clicking on a case of bursting too soon. I'm sorry. Where am I? If you want to edge, go watch any of the hundreds of Is Nessie Reels docs that came out over the last 60 years. Listen to this first just so you can go in realizing it's a hell of sus, as the kids say. Would they, brother? Would they actually say it like that?
I think so.
Nah, brah.
He's got that Ohio energy.
I don't think he's got the wrist for that.
They got straight skibbity, yo.
Skibbity.
I don't fucking know. Continue reading.
I like how we actually had a couple of them that were actually correctly used.
Possibly.
I hope so, at least. Damn these Gen Alphas. We established in the 2nd episode this little dive that is the local understanding that there is something in the lake, despite it being just a monster fish. Think that episode of The Simpsons where Homer wants to catch the giant fish, General Sherman. Basically that. Then when the A-28 was finished, it opened up the region to more eyes as travel became easier, and thus the 1930s became awash with sightings, letters of previous sightings, and basically the perfect way to get a tourist trap going, only to it more from a fish to a kelpie into a plesiosaur, which led the surgeon photo in 1934, which then became everyone wants to come. I mean, it's so easily sighted, and it became global. Now, I think the 70s were when things became huge. For the reason we complained before. The 60s were a revolutionary time for media, news especially. But the 70s would be a time when the UFOs shaped like dinner plates, Bigfoot, and all the New Age BS that swept the Western world. We say Western world because most New Age was basically just repackaged everywhere but the Western world spiritual practices. With the spice taken off, of course. But now we're at a global scale. Now you see, now if you say we're missing something big in that time between Dinsdale and the 1972 water photos, well, let's be real. The 60s were awash with tons of sightings and even tons of attempts to hoax. And that would just pad this out so much more than it already is. So if you want, in 1962, the Loch Ness Phenomena Investigation Bureau was founded, though would also end in 72. When it ended, there was over 1,000 members, and only a little over a half were actually from the UK. It was a global thing, is what I'm saying, and boy, did the gringos come out in bulk to gawk at a lake and swear they saw something because there was a shadow, mysterious wakes that were not obvious. Again, remember this is I've done got rimmed by a gray aliens era. They didn't get rimmed. I swear they got probed.
The Mothman ate my ass outside the Arby's. Sorry, that's a meme. It was a meme.
Yeah, no. What just made me think of is Jesus Christ outside the Bojangles. Was it Bojangles?
No, it was Jack in the Box Jesus.
It was Jack in the Box Jesus. You're right. Man, I miss Jack in the Box Jesus. He's so much better than Mario. He's our town Jesus. He really does. He walks around in a diaper most of the time.
Anyways,
Sorry.
how much of that are you keeping in?
I'm not sure yet. But that isn't to say it was all yokels, because this is where Robert Rines comes in, leading a team from the Academy of Applied Science with sonar and an underwater camera with a floodlight. He actually had probably the most logical situation. He actually had probably the most logical solution at the time. See, he was going to use sonar, and if there was a ping, he'd drop the camera, turn on the floodlight, and kind of hope for the best. And I know what you're saying sounds semi-smart. It really does, actually.
It really was.
It was actually quite smart. I would have thought of that, but only because we've seen
Continue
it before.
reading.
Sorry. Because they were using a Raytheon DE, whatever the numbers, which was damn good.
Raytheon.
That's what I said.
You said Raytheon. You mispronounced both syllables. Raytheon's a very big company, sister.
I apologize to Raytheon for not
Good,
knowing
they
how to
kill
say-
people who fuck them over.
Cool! Please, I live at... This is where you're supposed to jump in and say, no, you don't do that.
No, stop, don't, come back.
You know what? I'll never be able to say that and not picture Gene Wilder in my head.
Hell, police, murder.
Oh, where the fuck am I? On that team was included several specialists with the equipment so it wasn't blind firing a la ghost hunting with a broken stud detector.
I mean, you gotta think, the scientific, it makes sense. It's not, oh man, we got the Raytheon DE, 24601, and bam, we're gonna use it. It's, hey, we have this, here's the people who know how to use it.
Yep. This was big, and you know what? He got it. There was a ping, he dropped the cameras, and captured a fairly compelling photo. It was a flipper, or rather, it was a blurry diamond-shaped flipper-like object.
I made it really sound more UFO-y in my description of it, huh?
Yeah, that really works. The photo made international headlines. It did intrigue some scientists, but others were shrugging with, "That's just a rock." Granted, hindsight of a few decades, we also find out that the image, especially the ones used by newspapers, were severely enhanced in the contrast and brightness department to really outline the shape that's somewhat there in the original photo. But it's a damn good photo, and it's from the National Academy of Sciences, so there's some weight. And in the 70s, it absolutely electrified Nessie hunters and looky-loos alike, making a whole new wave that would become a bit insane. It is one place I want to go.
See, here is...
Yeah, I've seen that one.
See, no, what we've usually seen is that one.
But no, I've seen the other one. That one.
Because that's where it turned into,
Right, I've seen both of those.
So did I, but again, I've also, especially when I was younger,
It's Nessie. We all know about Nessie.
Yeah, it's just like I saw the Labrador one, and every version I've ever seen has made sure to obfuscate how clear the dog actually fucking is.
Yeah, right. I'm not, you're completely right.
Or everyone has seen a cryptozoological book with Nessie right there on the cover from the surgeon photo, not realizing that
it's fake.
Not even that it's fake, but that it's so cropped in that you don't actually see the lake around it. You always just see, here's a black shadow.
Right, making it seem larger than it really is.
Exactly. And then once you see the actual image of it,
with the full background, yeah.
Suddenly your brain actually clicks over into, oh, that's not the right size to be what it's supposed to be. And
despite meeting some pushback, this did give enough evidence for another venture in 1975 with the same group would do it again. And it worked. Again. This time, though, it showed what...
You're right.
It showed what was claimed to be the body and head of the monster. It was dramatic. Almost dinosaur-like. But was also suspiciously just kind of partially side-lighting thing. And again, a fairly significant blur and grain. But again, the 70s didn't care. Nobody cared in the 70s. The media ran hard with it. Headlines, documentaries, and general assumption was we were closer than ever to proving the monster exists. Seriously, hashtag Nessie was trending. And that was even before the internet was a thing. Yeah. Because even when we were kids, Nessie was still huge.
Well, yeah.
And that was the 90s. Ow.
And I would argue even now, Nessie is still huge, even though...
Ow again.
And I would even say that even now, Nessie is huge. It's one of the big three.
I will agree. I think Bigfoot is the...
Bigfoot, Nessie, and Chupacabra are probably the three major cryptids,
I don't think about the Chupacabra. I would say probably the Yeti.
No, because that counts as a Bigfoot.
Oh, you mean Bigfoot as a whole?
Just keep reading.
Honestly, though, this was really great. 1976... Honestly, though, there's a really great 1976 technology review from MIT. Ooh, that's the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Did you know that?
I thought it sounded for Monster Incorporated. TM. I couldn't think of anything. Just keep reading.
That really shows a bit more of how the setup was. I know. This time I'm not going with newspapers.com, but I think the tech side of these are far more interesting, particularly with how very definitive the statements are, despite adding in the context that these were all caught in one frame only shots and were at times where the silt and everything was being disturbed.
I did have you speaking for me there. I find the 1976 MIT study of these photos, I do believe it was where they presented their stuff, and then there were some people who went through and was like, yeah, but you couldn't catch multiple frames of it. Like the one where you saw the side outline of the body. That was in between two frames where there was nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and arguably you could say, well, they're taking pictures, they're not doing video, which is fair.
I will give them that.
But at the same time, if you're going click, 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 even on a shutter speed level, there's no way that a creature that's 20 feet long, even if you caught, barely any of it in one photo.
The shutter speed, but the clicking speed of a camera back in the 70s.
Well, that's why I'm using shutter speed. Clicking speed.
Well, no, I'm just thinking, even with the digital cameras, there is still you can still...
Yes, you click, but the click then leads to the shutter. And it's one of those... It's the crack versus the boom.
Okay, you're right.
Where it's, you pull the trigger on a gun, that does not immediately mean what you're shooting is dead.
Correct.
Or what you're shooting has been shot at.
Correct. I understand what you're saying. Okay,
But the fact that they're all in between frames, especially in a time of, when the water is being shaken up and everything.
Yeah, it could have been a crab. Or, not a crab,
You mean a crappie? As in a fish?
Yeah.
Crappie is a type of fish.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was a Scottish fish. That's why
honestly,
it could be trout. It's everything's trout. Trout's all over the place.
Salmon are also... we talk about this later.
Oh, okay. Of course, there's now the infamous first true color image of the creature, taken by Anthony Doc Shells. Is it Shells? Or is it supposed to be Shields?
No, it's Shields.
In 1977. If you've ever even gotten a glance at Loch Ness stuff, you've probably seen it. Basically, it's this brontosaurus head sticking out of the water with green skin and yellow underbelly. But it's like, what? This is called the Loch Ness Muppet. And I can't believe that there was anyone at the time that thought it was real.
This one, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
I know, it is such a stupid photo. Like, I at least understand why people really got hyped about the surgeon photo.
Yes,
because it's clear enough that you can definitely see the outline of what he wants it to be. But it's, only in silhouette, so you can make up your own kind of thing about it.
Yeah.
Whereas trying to remake it in color, essentially, is what Shields did. And it makes you go, yeah, no.
I agree. This is called the Loch Ness Muppet. And I can't believe that there was anybody at the time that thought this was real. It looks worse than what you'd get at Christmas time. Not even a Land of Lost legend. It's not even up to Land of the Lost levels, so we're acknowledging how stupid it is and moving on. Hey, was Land of the Lost the one where...
No, that was Dinotopia. I'm just telling you right now, I know exactly which one.
All right, which one?
Where the two brothers go into the dinosaur land?
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about the family that falls into there's an earthquake and they fall into the underground where there's dinosaurs and shit. And they make friends with the caveman.
I don't know about a caveman, but yes, I believe that's Land of the Lost.
Okay.
It was Lost in Space, but with dinosaurs.
Basically. But I remember that it was a family.
I think you might be confusing Swiss Family Robinson and Journey to the Center of the Earth.
No, I am not. Oh, wait. The other stupidly funny thing is in 1975, famed British naturalist and son of Arctic explorer Peter Scott. Yes, would officially give the creature a scientific name, and I'm sorry, sissy, Nessitoris rhompoperi?
Rhombopteryx.
Rhombopteryx, okay. I'm not repeating that.
That's okay.
The reason this is great is there's some big nerdery about it. Officially, Scott gave it a scientific name to try and get it onto the protected creatures list. So he named it Nest Inhabitant with Diamond-Shaped Flipper. Although Google Translate won't translate it. It's probably, as British politician Nicholas Fairbairn pointed out, it's actually an...
This is what I fucking love about this.
Sorry. Pointed out, it's actually an anagram of Monsters Hoax by Sir Peter S. Ah. All right, I can see it. I can see
with
it.
There's some more funny.
Although, in the truly most insane comeback, Robert Rhines actually countered it with that it could also say, yes, both Pixar monsters are. Somebody had time on their hands.
Again, this is stupidly funny.
But agree.
Yes, of course they had time on their hands. Their jobs was, we're looking at a fucking lake that has nothing in it. Actually, it has a lot of fucking eels. And otters. Sometimes seals. And otters. But anyways, that's why I had to add that part. Because it's funny in the nerdiest way.
It really is. I'm sorry, I do agree with you. That is funny in the nerdiest way. All right. When you reach the event horizon that the nerds are going full anagram beefs, you know there's something hilariously weird, right? But regardless of how the science girls were fighting, this surge in hard evidence exploded the scene far more. Record tourism numbers, monster-themed cruises were a dime a dozen. People on the shores day and night just watching. And the march itself was an ecological disaster by itself. We're talking t-shirts, mugs, plushies. Which I'm upset that Cuddly Cryptids hasn't done one yet. AJ assures me that they are an adorable plushie creator that you all should check out. Not a sponsor. Just a satisfied customer with the entire line.
My boys personally love the Tasmanian worm. The tassel worm. Although the Mothman one is also adorable. The Chupacabra's great. What?
Nothing.
Cuddly Cryptids is amazing. And adorable.
Right. Nessie merch. To put it in modern context, you could make a successful Can You Survive a Day on only Nessie merch. And probably only not be able to find a car.
I'm sure there was at least one bus that had like Nessie painted on the side or something.
Probably. Some locals were thrilled with the surge, bringing in new revenue to the area. Although there's the vocal locals that weren't tied to the profits of the region, who were probably tired of strangers camping in their yards with binoculars. I have to agree with the locals. As somebody who yells about peepers in the summer, because it's not even fall yet.
No, I completely agree.
I don't stand on the front porch screaming at the city yard to give me back the 3 feet of road they took away.
It's okay.
That's what I was going to do yesterday. I was going to call them. I want to know why their side of Mill Street gets a curb, But my side of Mill Street gets 3 feet of freaking slush and shit.
Could it possibly be that half the time you're parked out front so they can't?
No, because from 2 to 6 is when they're supposed to be plowing that.
Anyways, continue.
Sorry. I think that's also where the interesting point, because the general public were on different cars of the Nessie hype train, almost in the same way that the scientific community was, or rather, in reverse of the scientific community. Enthusiasts were the majority and wanted to believe, where scientists did want to believe, but the evidence wasn't there enough for the majority to have faith in it. Now, yes, there was a very real possibility that there could be an unknown creature or creatures in the loch. After all, Loch Ness is a deep, dark, incredibly murky, and honestly, because of the depth, which we really haven't talked about, there's actually a lot of layer. There are actually a lot of thermal layers to which change the density and can even distort sonar. Really?
You left out the density of water.
Oh, sorry, density of water. My bad.
That's okay.
On the other hand, the evidence of misidentifying wakes and logs or birds. Yes, there's even a case where it's just 3 ducks that were swimming in a straight line. Not even counting the amount of hoax involved. It's as muddy as the loch itself. But that's what made the 70s the pivotal. But that's what made the 70s the pivotal decade. The tension between the scientific skepticism and the hopeful exploration made the vast majority feel we are on the cusp of a monumental discovery. And yes, again, it is very easy to see why we were at this, with the rest of pop culture being a mesh of pseudoscience and wishful thinking. Aliens.
We'll get to the aliens, sister.
And yes, of course, the money also helped. People were visiting Loch Ness like it was Disneyland. But the books were published. TV specials were made. And there was always someone willing to tell their story to a paper for a quick buck, or just to have their name in the paper. To not be cynical, too late, the 70s cemented Nessie not only as some strange Scottish legend, or even a global superstar, but a pillar, a symbol of mystery, a reminder that maybe the modern world still holds some secrets in it. And honestly, as much as AJ has been Lord Buzz Killington, I like that. It's kind of a wonder that helped the world cope with the issues of the 70s. By the end of the 70s, Loch Ness Monster was more famous than ever. Even if her most convincing photos were bad to the point where TMZ wouldn't have posted them. But that's the decades represent the high of the monster mania. A time where science, media, and imagination collided in the dark waters of a famous loch. So if you're ever at Loch Ness and see something ripple in the surface, it's probably nothing. But you should take a picture anyways. Always take the picture.
Always take the picture.
Do you know how many pictures I have of Oneida Lake? Just taking pictures of the lake itself to see maybe someday. Did you know Oneida Lake is the only lake that is not connected to one of the Great Lakes?
I did not.
I recently read that somewhere. I don't remember where.
Neat.
One of the dudes was a killer. It was for killing 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just can't remember where. I remember reading it, but still.
Anyways, I think that's where we're going to end this today. We have one more episode in the Nessiness.
In the Nessiness.
Nessmania.
Nessmania. I don't know. The best mania was still Hulkmania.
Oh, God, no, it wasn't. Anywho, please go over, watch us on YouTube. We're going into our older episodes over there with pictures. So of the pictures here, you've got about a month. You've got about 40 episodes of about 40 weeks before we get to here, so you can see the cool pictures. But we've got some really nice ones over there. Hookman doesn't really have a lot of, hard evidence photos, obviously.
Right, but what you can do for the Hookman is take stills from every TV show that's done it, or movie.
I'm kind of going to do it that way, sort of. But it's already going to be up since this is already 4 weeks into the our comeback. So go over there and see how I did do it. And remember, we need to show that the YouTube is better than the podcast, so I can rub it in my sister's face.
However, if you're listening to the YouTube at this moment in time, please come over to Missing 15 Minutes on all your podcast networks.
Please do, because we got 160 episodes of Killing 15, 30-odd episodes of Mything 15, and blanking. I'm not even sure where we're at there, so the podcasts are the first place to go to see where we're doing good. I personally hate looking back at our rougher years.
But we got better.
And if you want to hear unedited, please go over to our Patreon. It's also where we're going to be starting to talk a little bit more about our merch stuff that we have planned for 2027, as well as future shows, because yes, there is a future new show coming out.
This year, yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right.
Oh, and like, share, subscribe, comment, give us all the stuff that appeals to the great algorithm.
Thanks for missing 15 minutes with us. Man, that would have been a hell of a way to close out. But guess what? Tomorrow we're going to wrap up with the speed running about 40 years of information.
Sadly enough, it's actually quite bland.
Oh, goody. I'm Sam Rossi.
I'm AJ Carey.
Later, y'all.
Missing 15.
Keep on carrying on.
C-A-R-E-Y. Because
Carry On Productions.